Is back. This is a series where I talk about 5 weird border gore or anomalies in a region, 4 or 5, and go in an in-depth explanation of why they exist. I did one for Africa, I did one for Europe, and I even did a short one for the 13 colonies. So now I'm doing Asia. Without further ado, let's begin. The one on the thumbnail, Fergana Valley. It looks normal at first. Except then you realize that there seems to be a lot of floating bits from 3 countries. Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and what you can't see the name of here, Tajikistan. What is the reason for this? Like everything, the USSR. The USSR had a divide and conquer mindset. And they wanted to make sure that these areas did not become powerful enough to rebel. So they separated them. Another reason is also because the USSR map makers used ethnic maps instead of ones that showed the nomads' roots. Ethnic maps are stuff people today really like. They're like, oh, it's gonna show everybody in their own new country, and if everybody had a country for themselves, that would be great. Yes, it would be great, but then you would get a lot of border war because everybody lives in different places. Is Kashmir. Now, this is very, so I'm going to basically only talk about some parts of this. First, the Siachen Glacier. Now, basically, this was the line of control, which is the de facto border between India and Pakistan. However, you see, they actually forgot to mark a certain glacier. Yeah. So anyway, there was this American guy called Hodgson that made this straight line. And when India saw this map, they're like, tisk tisk. So they invaded an Operation MacLeod and made this line that the USA could use. So now the USA has 2 lines that they use. Oh joy. And it's all because of a glacier. This is actually the highest battle point ever. But something that's even more weird is that, alright, all you gotta do, look at this area of the Pakistan claimed boundary. Notice how it's undefined. So for all we know, Pakistan claims a border that's incomplete, which means some parts of the borders that complete it are almost non-existent. The de facto border is shown in a tiny gray tone on the map because that's what they normally claim. Next, we have Archivan. Now, Archivan is one of the many exclaves here. And no, I'm not talking about Nakhchivan over here, the big one owned by Azerbaijan. I'm talking about the tiny ones. What's the reason? The USSR, similar to Fergana Valley, they had to divide and conquer mindset. The largest exclave, Nakhchivan, is quite interesting as it connects Turkey with the rest of the Turkic world. Also, Nagorno. Next on our list, we have Musandam and Mada. If I mispronounced that, sorry. I'm very sorry. Anyway, basically, if you have ever looked at a map of the United Arab Emirates provinces, you already know border gore. But first of all, we already have Musandam, that big area up there, and now we have Mada over here, which is sad. Now, what's the reason for this? Well, you see these Emirates, the United Arab Emirates, they used to be their own tributary states to the UK, similar to Oman. And Mada and Nahwa were also tributary states, along with Musandam. But the problem was, they really weren't going to stand a chance against the two big giants. I'm talking about Sharjah and Oman. Now you see, Sharjah and Oman were surrounding these areas. So it was clear that these two areas, Mada and Nahwa, had to pick a place to be part of. Mada picked Oman, while Nahwa picked the UAE, making a weird area where there is a counter exclave, an exclave within an exclave. Anyway, so that was a much larger exclave, and while it looked cool, it really wasn't that powerful, so in the end it joined Oman. Now if you see this map of Sharjah here, there's this like faint rose tone area colored. That is a border dispute between the Emirates. A border dispute inside the country. Meaning the UAE could be a really great idea for another video. Please allow me to do this, I get very tired. Next is the Hunger. I'm sure if you were alive near 2015, on the news you would be like, massive border gore resolved! This monstrosity between India and Bangladesh. There were some houses in these areas that were literally like just two houses that were Indian, and all of them are surrounded by Bangladesh. There were some sad instances where somebody had to go to the hospital and had a heart attack, but the Indians couldn't come to help them, or the Bangladeshi, I'm not sure. Because, you see, they almost skipped the border. So, India and Bangladesh resolved all these in 2015, but one thing they didn't resolve was the Hungram. Why was this? Well, because in 1979, they made a tiny corridor to make sure Bangladesh could keep the Hungram, except it would be it would be very close to India. However, there would be a tiny bridge-like corridor called Tingbia. Anyway, what happened was, in the end, in 2015, they decided to allow, oh my god, I can't say, Bangladesh to keep the Hungram, because why not? That's stupid. There's a bridge. Get over it. Back to the land of gray maps. What do you think of this series reboot? If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And a quick notice that in July, I'm going to be releasing a video that's not normally my style. A mapping video.